Hello everybody. This is replacing the high pressure fuel pump on a 2.4 ecotec engine. On It just so happens mine is a GMC Terrain, but that's a pretty popular engine. It's being used on the GMC, Chevy, Equinox, Pontiac, and Saturn. So pretty much if you have that 2.4 engine on your vehicle, ecotec, this repair is for you. Stay tuned. First thing first is there's a clamp down here. Okay, take out. Alright, it's loose. Just keep checking so that you don't make it too loose and make the band clamp fall out. Alright, and then on the left side there's another band clamp that holds the airbox intake to the air filter. Take that off. And then there's the PCV connection on the left side as well. And once you take those out, it's a matter of just pop it. Just kind of pop it from the back side. Just pop it. Yeah, there you go. Alright, alright. There it is. Alright. That leak right there is a good sign that some fuel that has been leaking into the top of the engine has been getting sucked back up into the airbox. You should never see an actual fuel leak right there on top of the cover when you take it off. Let's clean this out real quick. Alright. There it is, the airbox. Do you see that leak? Fuel gets sucked in and it's coming up here to the intake. It's been returning back to the intake, and that's what creates too rich condition. Let's take this cap off, oil cap off, so we can pop the cover off real quick. You just pop it. It's the same scenario. Be careful not to damage the PCV connection. And let's put the cover back on it, on the cap, the oil cap on me, so that we don't end up dropping stuff accidentally inside. This is the fuel pump. This is what we're gonna take it off. That's the intake for it to the fuel pump comes from the tank. And then at the bottom there's the discharge side from the pump. It's called the high pressure side. And I've got a bunch of wiring harnesses there. You gotta disconnect those things. There's the wire connection plug to the high pressure pump. Let's see. This thing sometimes gets tricky. Just find the little clip that actually holds it in place. The little lift off tab, so to speak. I see it. Alright, it's at the bottom. Just kind of lift up on the little tab and pull the plug. And voila. Alright, step 2. You're removing the fuel pump cover. I'm gonna be using this tool to remove the retainers off the fuel pump cover. Some of the harness and retainers are. We're gonna need this tool. So, the right tool for the right job. Just put the tool right here and pry it away. small loop. And just go all the way around to remove the harness pins. The last one is back here. There's the big harness on there. Gently, just gently pipe. Alright, it's out. Now I gotta move to the bolt and one at the bottom. It's gonna be 10mm bolts. Two on the side, one at the bottom. It's gonna be 10mm. Use a socket or wrench. Okay, use my wrench. Yeah. It's a long bolt, so one up top, and there's the other one for the bottom. Just take this regular bit. And just stick the bottom one out. Long bolt. One up top, one at the bottom, and one underneath. 3 bolts folded in place. A fuel pump cover. Okay. Now, one thing as a safety precaution, it's always a good idea that throttle, the air intake for the throttle, butterfly, it's easy to drop something in there and it just goes straight into the engine. Just put some kind of cover on it, like a rag. Probably put like a little rubber band or something, just hold it in place if you want to overdo it, but that should be good enough. And now back to the pump cover. Take the last bolt from the bottom. I mean the last nut. The bottom one is going to be a nut. Same size, 10mm. A socket would probably be easier. Got it out. So it's 3 of them. Okay. We have 2 of the bolts go on the side, and one goes at the bottom that holds the fuel pump cover on place. Now let's take the wiring harness off just so that makes it easier to get access to the pump cover. Now these plugs sometimes get stuck, so you gotta fiddle around with it. Oh, and then the second one, this one's gotta be just as hard. Alright, that wasn't so bad. Okay. We got that out. There it is. That's the cover for the fuel pump. Then we have a little bit of a cushioning cover that we have here. Be careful not to tear it. It's durable, but it's still plastic, rubber. Be careful and ease it out of the way. Alrighty, that's the fuel pump. Alright, here's the rubber cover. Put it away now, we're safe, we're still gonna need it. That's the fuel pump. That's what we're gonna be replacing. Alright folks, I'm back. Here's the new fuel pump that we're gonna be replacing. It's where is it? GM genuine parts. GM as well as, let's unbox it. Okay, this was what the new fuel pump looks like. See, it goes like this. Connection, pump. This is the high pressure side. This is the intake side. It goes just like that, right? Now we have a gasket that goes on it. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. There's that gasket, and this where it plunges. See this part? I can't push it, but in the camshaft has a lobe that keeps pushing the plunger so that fuel can pump through. But the problem is, inside here, somehow fuel is finding its way from there out here into the engine, so you end up with having engine oil that smells like gas. Several problems. Anyway, this is the pump, and the high pressure at the bottom of the fuel line is this. Part number for this is a GM part number 126-08374. Alright, it's a GM genuine parts. Let's take it out. Alright. So, pressure compression fitting, both sides. Alright. It goes, from what I could see, it's gonna go like this. This goes to the fuel pump on top here, and this goes to the engine block at the bottom, just like that. Alright, let's leave this on for now. Okay, now we have to take the pressure off the fuel lines. To do that, we have to, well, there's several ways to do that. Well, I'm gonna go old school. What I'm gonna do, you put a drain catch underneath there, and crack the lines, let it drain down, and I'll catch it. All right. It's size 17. It's a GM vehicle. I don't know why it's not standard. Instead, it's using metric size bolts that fit wrenches. Anyway, it's a size 17. This line here. See that? Yeah, straight up. Let it drain down to the pan and having it go over the engine. With this towel, so we patch. Allow me. It smells gas. Crack the bottom side. There you have it, folks. The old fuel line is out. Alright, now it's time to take out this quick connect, and the size I'm using is
So you go, put it on, let it rest against it, push the fuel line in, push this one further in, and then now pull the fuel line back out. Alright? Just like that. Voila. You see these markings inside? That's fine. That's exactly what you push it. Alright? Now we have the fuel lines disconnected. What we gotta do is just stick the fuel pump out. Right. The fuel pump has 2 bolts holding it in place, and they are number 10. I don't know if you can see it. Yep, they're number 10. Again, you can get a socket. But I'm gonna use my wrench. I thought they would be super duper tight, but they're not. Alright, here's one bolt. Let's get this bushing, I guess, on it. Long bolts. Here's the other one. Alright. The fuel pump, you just gotta wiggle it and ease it on out, take it out, because if you look closely on the new one, there's this part of it that actually fits into the engine, and there's an O-ring on there, so it's gotta be tight coming out. So I'm gonna wiggle it and pull it back, wiggle it, pull it back. Alright, this is what the old one looks like. This is where we have probably fuel going inside. Here's the old gasket. I'm gonna show y'all something in there that is important, I believe, which is we've got part in there. I wanted you guys to see inside. This is what it looks like. And when you put it back in, the new one, you see this piece in there? We have to turn the crankshaft so that that's all the way in. That's the lobe that hits the plunger. If you can see it, when you put the new one back in, you have to make sure that's the furthest in that it could go before installing the new one in there. They sell a tool that tells you the measurement, but I'm just gonna go old school and spin it and use a screwdriver on my fingers to see, you know, that the lobe is seated all the way back in. All right. Alrighty. Now, the next step is to take this where the pin plunges in. Here's the old one. Where this goes in, there's a cup that goes over this, and that cup is what makes contact with the lobe and the camshaft. So we have to take that cup off. It's in here. I just use a small needle nose of pliers. And slowly out. And this is what it looks like. You see it has two holes that you'll be able to see. What I did was I just stuck the needle nose in there, let it grab it, and just kind of wiggled it out. And so I would clean it up. It has a groove on it, so you will not make a mistake of putting it back. This groove right here, there's a slide in there that will go in there. And you see this part? It's like a bearing. It's like a bearing. It rides. This part rides on the camshaft load. This part presses against the plunger for the fuel pump. So this groove part that rides, this pump rides in the groove at the bottom. So that's how it works. Just to do a see, this is the fuel pump, and this is the piece that you have, and it sits right on it, and the camshaft will just hit this part again and again, and as a result this pushes it in, just goes in and out. Fuel goes in from here, goes out over there. The problem is there's internal leak in here. Fuel gets into the crankcase. So when we put the new one, it's important to make sure this goes in there. This stays in there. Now I'm going to show you the load on the crankshaft itself this time. That's what it looks like. That is the load for the flashlight here. And that's the part, the low, we have to make sure it's on the low side before we put the low on. And to do that, you have to turn the crankshaft, which is, you can see it. Crankshaft bolt is right down there, and it takes 21 millimeter. A ratchet wrench will make life easier. A regular wrench will fit. Otherwise, socket and a ratchet will work too. 21 millimeter. But there's not enough space to stick a ratchet in there. So if you are working by yourself, it's better just to use a wrench in there. You can turn that and monitor here to make sure the load is at its lowest point. By inserting the tool, getting your finger in there. Alright. So now I'm gonna keep turning it and see about locating the lowest point on that load. Yeah. See, it's 21 millimeter. Alright, 21. Okay, both right on, turning. I can feel it in my finger inside the reaching as high as 20. Okay. Now, seems to be going down. To my finger right there, but you will feel it, the little bump that comes out right here, back to here. You will feel it. Put your finger in there, keep turning, and then you feel it push it on, push you back, and then let her sink back in. You see the lowest spot, and it comes back up, so you back it up so that it stays in the low spot. All right, put the head in. It's a Mobil 1 oil. So use that. To lubricate this thing, and I'll put it back in. Maybe put some in there as well. Alright, let me put this down before I knock it over. Put the dipstick back. Alright, so remember, this bump goes at the bottom in the groove, alright? And the little bearing part goes inside. This part is facing you. Push it in. Alright. Alright. Now, before we put the fuel pump, before we put the new fuel pump, as you can see, there's an O-ring that goes around it. We put some oil on it as well as on the engine around where the O-ring fits. Take my trusted dipstick and go get some oil. Before I put that, it's probably best if put the fuel line first, because once I put the pump in, it'd be hard to get to the pump at the bottom. Yeah, should have marked it. Anyway, so this is a compression fitting, so you don't need to put Teflon, you don't need to put anything. It's a compression fitting. You just put it on. What I'm gonna do is just get it started, but at the same time I can still wiggle it and move it around and just get the fuel pump on. Make sure you still have the gasket. Bolts are started. All right. And then find the 2 bolts for the fuel pump. And we tighten the fuel lines, and I'll get back. Probably looked at the torque specs for this. I'm going to tighten the fuel lines. Those are 70. It's snugging real well because these are compression fittings. Put the fuel line coming in from the tank. All it is just push it on down. Very quick. That's secure. Put this retainer on it. All right, I went ahead and connected the plugs that I had taken off earlier, so I can take the big cover off of here. Put the fuel line and I'm still putting my push. I'm gonna put the airbox on it just so I can have the PCB connected to the intake and from the air filter, so that I don't get any faults or anything. Tighten them up real quick. Back in this. Check. Everything connected. We're gonna leave that off. I'm gonna run it, and I'm gonna check to see if there's any kind of fuel leak in there. That's the whole point of running it with, the covered fuel. All right, it is running now. Here, let me take the camera off first so you guys can see it. Then install. No leaks whatsoever. No. We are good. We are good. Yes. That is how you change a fuel pump on a GMC. Now right now, I'm gonna take this cover back off and put the other one back and the fuel pump cover back on. And this cover goes on. The slot goes on the bottom, so that this will be for the fuel pump and this will be for the plug. Just knock the camera over. Alright. Good. Then this one goes here. They have two bolts that go over here, and there's a nut that fits on this side. Two bolts that go on the side. Put the fuel pump cover back on. Two bolts over here and a nut at the bottom. Just plug everything back and the push pin for the wire harness. Put that back. Same thing on the side, and there's this new line which I have. I should probably go get the new one. I probably will, but for now, we'll be fine. Yeah, staying in place. Let's start putting everything back together. Cover. Gotta take them. This will be the first one to go on. Damage this one. There's these two holes have to line up in here. That's within the range of the camera, so you can see. Alright, we'll start it one more time. We're good. That's how you do it.